Hello, kids. How are we doing today? Welcome back to the Untitled podcast. This is Jacob.
And I'm Zach.
And today, this is our part one of our two-part series of our predictions of Avengers Infinity War.
But before we get into that, Jacob, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I am awake. The sun is shining. Flowers are in bloom.
The world has not ended.
World has not ended. Thank goodness for that. I have so many things I still want to do. Like go see Avengers Infinity War. No, we're not. No, we're not sponsored by Marvel.
In any way, sadly.
It'd be nice. But how are you, Zach?
I'm doing good. You know, like I said, world hasn't ended. I'm waking up every day, so that's always a plus. So here we are, finally.
19 days.
19 days, yes.
19 days before Avengers Infinity War.
Less than a month. And here we are finally recording episode 3 of the Untitled podcast. But before we get into our predictions of Infinity War, do you have anything to declare, anything to report? Movies, TVs, comics, whatsoever?
I have acquired.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, John Cusack's best film, Grosse Point Blank.
I still need to watch that.
You need to watch that. It's a really great movie. It's really funny too. And Violent Femmes, Blister in the Sun works perfectly. So perfectly they made a music video based around this movie.
I heard about that.
Yeah. And then I acquired Pulp Fiction, the collector's edition.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. How I've missed this movie.
It's a good movie, and especially one to miss. And so for those who don't know about Grosse Point Blank, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe I'm saying that right. Let's give a quick little rundown of the original plot. It's pretty much, if I remember right, from what I've heard, it is a high school union, right?
Yeah, it's based around a hitman who's going to his high school reunion. Who actually has brought his business along with him, unknowingly. And the bad guy in this movie is Dan Aykroyd, and
That's an interesting choice. It really is.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I'm not I really couldn't be intimidated by Dan Aykroyd. Like, I'm not gonna spoil it for anything.
Yeah.
For anybody, but there's this funny scene where it's like near the end, he's shooting at a door.
Mm-hmm.
Lady screams, opens the door. All you see is Dan. You just see Dan Aykroyd in shades, in a button-up shirt and slacks, running at you with 2 pistols. No, it's not really a run. It's more of a waddle. He's waddling at you.
Imagine anybody who's coming at you with 2 pistols has got to be somewhat intimidating.
Not Dan Aykroyd. I still see Dan. I still see. What's his character in Ghostbusters?
Ray Steins.
Yeah.
Well, I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen the original Ghostbusters.
But that's all I see when I'm like I can't. I'm not afraid of no ghost. But yeah, no. So he ends up meeting. John Cusack's character, the hitman, ends up meeting his old high school sweetheart.
Minnie Driver, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He ends up meeting her. They fall back in love. He kills the opposing hitman, and
all is well.
All is well and ends well in the end. He's happy. She's happy. They're happy together.
And is there anything else you got to declare?
I just got the Doomsday Clock.
Yep. Doomsday Clock issue number 1. So
Doomsday Clock issue number 1.
So for those that don't know, it is essentially combining the world of Watchmen and bringing it over into the DC universe in comic form. And it is set after Watchmen, and beyond that, I'm not telling you anything else because, well, much like Watchmen is a 12-issue run, there's only been, I think, about 4 or 5 issues that have been released at this point. I think 4.
I think it's 4. Yeah, it's definitely 4.
At the time of recording this, it is the let's see, what day is it now? It is April 8th, so just the beginning of April. So they just probably just now released issue 4.
Yeah.
And well, if you want to know how everything turns out, you're just gonna have to read the comic.
Yeah, it seemed really good. I remember they had like a whole release party for it and everything at the local comic book shops.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, bummed I missed it though.
I would have been good to go.
Oh yeah, you should have come down here sooner.
Things happen. Moving is not an easy thing.
Definitely.
It's very time consuming.
Oh yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And
but do you have anything to declare?
I got a few things. Much like you, I picked up a few things today. I picked up 2 comics. Sadly, one of which I missed the first 2 issues, which is the current run of Legion in Marvel Comics. It is issue 3, I believe, like 3 of either 6 or 7. I also picked up the run on Black Bolt that they're doing right now. At least the first trade of that. That character's always interested me, mainly in the fact that one of the things I forgot to tell you that's interesting to me is that he can't speak. Well, I mean, he can speak, but he can't really speak because his voice is so powerful.
He has like supersonic.
He has supersonic powers to the point where it could, if he even were to whisper, could be powerful enough, depending on who's writing it, to shatter a planet. So he literally cannot speak if he wants to survive and not kill anybody. So, which makes things a little bit more interesting. Literally the equivalent of a silent protagonist for the most part.
I don't think that's the way the TV show made it out to be.
I think a lot of people would rather forget that. Forget that TV show.
Just a little.
And the last 2 things I have to declare, which is a thing we got actually at Barnes & Noble, not at Gotham City Comics, was a book I've been meaning to finish for a long time reading. I've told you a bit about it. I'll go in a little bit deeper detail of it. Is Clive Barker's The Scarlet Gospels. I surprisingly picked this up at the West Valley Library, right there. You know where Rosars is?
Oh, yeah.
It's right across the street from it in Yakima. And I picked it up there. It was the hardcover version of it. It's literally the same exact cover. And it is literally kind of in a weird way, almost like the Infinity War of Clive Barker's universe. It combines a lot of different things.
It's just that he combined a lot of characters.
It brought a lot of
his characters and just kind of like
into one book. Mainly characters from, mainly the Cenobites, specifically Pinhead, or as he's known in the book, the Hell Priest, and the main character from Lord of Illusions, Harry Damore. He has a strange last name. He's kind of like his version of like John Constantine in a way.
Huh.
And there's a lot that goes into this book. It is kind of it is graphic and in its own way disturbing. I mean, it's coming from the man who made Hellraiser and Nightbreed, so it's you can kind of expect some disturbing qualities to it, and it's the way he combines it is actually very interesting. So like if you want, like when I finish reading, if you want, I can let it to you. You can read it.
Yeah, definitely. It's
worth a read. It's worth a read.
I do like the Hellraiser characters and the Cenobites. So. And
the book is actually, I think it's actually better than a lot more of the recent Hellraiser movies.
Well, anything's better than the recent Hellraiser.
But especially because the fact that this is coming from the guy that created this world, that created these characters. So, this is the man that knows how to do it justice, the man that knows how to tell the story and to tell it right.
He knows these characters better than any director
or writer or anybody because he created them.
Yeah. They came from his head. And
Yep. They popped out of his head, and they're essentially his babies, his children. So, yep. And the last thing I have to declare before we get into it is, as I told you when I first showed up here earlier today, I finally got around to watching the first episode of the second season of Legion on FX, and it's just as crazy and as amazing as I remember it to be, if not more. And it picks up. I'm not going to go too heavy into details because we have a lot to talk about in of itself. It takes place about a year later after the events of season 1.
Okay.
And it's pretty much having to following Legion, David Haller, and the mutants of Summerland and a government agency, Division 3, trying to hunt and destroy the Shadow King after the events of season 1. And it's kind of more of a race to find the Shadow King's original body.
Oh, so it's kind of like a race against the clock, kind of.
Yeah, it's like who's going to get it first, either the Shadow King or David, who's going to get to the body first. Because, while, he is kind of really interacts on the astral plane, the mutation is genetic. So if they destroy the body, they essentially destroy the Shadow King. So it is very much a race against the clock and kind of a smash and grab kind of thing where they're trying to get to it before the other person.
I actually do have one more thing to declare.
Okay, let's hear it.
Recently, this past Wednesday, you and I went to go see Kevin Smith live.
That is right. Yes, we did.
At the Mesa Arts Center.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we did.
Yes, that was an amazingly funny show. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time.
And I kind of agree with you on that. It came at a time I think where both of us needed it because
we both needed a little laugh.
It was a long week. It was a very long week. Just on my end, not to change the subject or make this about me. I that day had to turn in a PowerPoint for college as well as to take an exam. So my day was very hectic up till then.
Yeah, I had to take an exam the day after.
Yeah, so both of our days were very hectic, and I just got to say this. It was a lot more inspiring than I expected it to be.
I wasn't expecting an inspiring speech at the end. Well, not a speech, but just like words of wisdom.
They're very much
what I call it. Words of wisdom.
Yeah, I mean, it is words of wisdom from a man who has been in that business for the past 25 years.
Yeah, he said 25 years.
Yeah, for the past 25 years. So he has seen it and done things I think he himself probably didn't even expect he was going to do. And Tusk, The Flash.
Oh, you remember hearing that guy. What about Tusk?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
You remember that guy?
Well, I mean, I think there's that guy at everything he does.
Well, I know, but it's just like... No, there's no way that's like at everything. Like,
do you know how much people hate Tusk and Yoga Hosers? They hate that movie.
Oh, I
hate it.
liked Yoga Hosers. Okay,
you're probably one of the few that actually did.
Okay, and
I haven't seen it, but
I like it. I thought it was a great movie.
From what I'm hearing from a lot of people, especially of his fans that saw the movie, you're probably amongst the very few that did like that movie.
It was entertaining. I mean, yeah, it has its stupid moments, but I mean, what movie doesn't have its cheesy, stupid moments?
Good point.
Even Blade Runner. Oh, don't tell me that movie was imperfect.
I wasn't saying it wasn't perfect, but I can't remember a cheesy, stupid moment in that movie. I can't.
No.
At least not off the top of my head. Like, maybe the closest thing is, I don't know, maybe...
every recut, re-release,
Okay.
Yeah.
I got one. In the original cut, the theatrical cut, they had Harrison Ford do a narration of the movie, like, throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like,
it's kind of like a crime noir.
Like how a lot of crime noir movies do, where they have the main character narrating the events of what we're seeing. They kind of did that, and it really just, it wasn't good. It wasn't needed, which I'm glad, especially in the cut that I first saw Blade Runner, the final cut, which in my opinion is the best version of Blade Runner. It's nowhere to be heard. It's not even in the film, and thankfully so. It was not needed whatsoever. And, even if, say what you want about Kevin Smith as a filmmaker, I mean, the man himself, like, he is
He's-
incredibly humanitarian.
Yeah, and he's done a lot of stuff every fanboy wish he could do.
Yeah.
He worked on the Flash TV show, Supergirl, Green.
He did a run on Green Arrow in the comics.
He did a run of Green Arrow in the comics. He did a run of Green Hornet in the comics.
Did, I think, Daredevil and Batman.
Daredevil, Batman. He made, I mean, depending on your opinion of this, he made like 5 or 6 of like some of the top movies.
Yeah, I mean,
most well known from like mainly the 90s to like early 2000s.
Yeah, I mean, Clerks. I think the first 2 Clerks movies.
Clerks, Mallrats,
Chasing Amy.
That's
a good one. That's a really good one.
Jersey.
I haven't seen Jersey Girl, so I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Yeah.
An Evening with Kevin Smith 1 and 2, which were really funny.
He's even done some good movies throughout the 2000s. Cop Out, Red State.
Yeah. Not Tusk.
I don't know. Tusk had some good elements to it. I think it's not my favorite of Kevin Smith. My favorite probably has to be Chasing Amy. I love that movie to death. It's I can't figure one thing wrong with it. Really, I can't.
My favorite still is what was my favorite?
Oh yeah, Dogma too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Dogma.
I always forget he did Dogma.
It's Clerks 2. Clerks 2, honestly, is just really funny. And the dance number, yeah, it's unneeded. It's not needed, but I don't know. It just fits.
Yeah.
It just kind of fits the moment. Like, hey, you're kind of semi not really dating Rosario Dawson. Like
semi, but not really.
Semi, but not really. You're kind of cheating on your fiance thing.
Yeah.
Who was played by Smith's wife in the movie.
I forgot she was in the movie.
Yeah.
That's right. That's her.
Harley makes like a quick little cameo in it too.
She must have been pretty young though. Like a little kid.
Yeah.
His daughter Harley Quinn Smith, which just her name alone shows you how much of a nerd Kevin Smith is. To be named after Harley Quinn.
Yeah, he's pretty badass.
It is. It is. I mean, wouldn't have been my first choice of names, but it's definitely. Actually, it's a really good choice. There are worse names out there.
Yeah.
There are worse names out there.
Bee or Bea.
Why would they do that? I don't understand why people name their kids some of that stuff, but
all right,
that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Infinity War.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so for those that don't know, all right, so let's do a quick rundown of where everybody's at the probably at the start of the movie.
At the start of the movie. Okay.
Okay, so Black Panther. I'm assuming this probably takes place sometime after the events of Black Panther.
Yes, because Bucky is awake.
Bucky is awake. He seems
to remember who he is.
He seems to be all right now. He seems like that Winter Soldier programming has been taken out of him. It has been shut down by Shuri, I'm guessing. And from one of the more important things of Black Panther, which is a lot, but especially at the end, is T'Challa opens the doors to Black Panther to the world, to where they're going to start interacting more with the world and not be an isolated country anymore. Okay, so the Avengers are split up.
Yes, they are. Because of
the Sokovia Accords. Because of the events of Civil War.
Yep.
Captain America's on the run. His I guess they could be called Secret Avengers now. They could be. His team. They could be because they're on the run. They're on the run from them. They are now fugitives of the law due to the Sokovia Accords.
Okay, first let's name off. Okay, so you got Captain America.
Mm-hmm. Got Captain America, Black Widow. Scarlet Witch. Ant-Man. And Hawkeye
and Falcon.
Yeah, and Falcon.
Okay.
As well as Vision, because I think Vision went with her.
Yeah, Vision disappeared with her.
Yeah. That's on Cap's side.
Yeah.
And
there's not really sides anymore.
There's just kind of you're on the run or you're not.
Yeah.
Really. And on Iron Man, it's Tony.
Tony.
There's
Peter.
Yeah, Peter.
Peter Parker.
Rhodey.
Let's
see, who else? Rhodey. Black Panther was on that side, but she switched at the very end.
And the Black Widow?
Yeah.
Okay.
What did I say before?
You said the Black Panther.
I said Black Panther? Okay, I was thinking of something else at the time.
Okay.
So yeah, Black Widow, she switched sides at the very end. I am blanking right now. Can you...
Actually, I think that's...
No.
Doctor Strange.
Was he an Avenger? I think he's kind of just doing... I think he just showed up on the scene.
Well, that's... I meant, like, people, like, in their collective areas.
Okay.
Like, okay, so you got T'Challa,
Mm-hmm.
Winter Soldier in Wakanda.
They're off in Wakanda. Maybe Cap's in Wakanda. We don't really know.
No, because they go out and find Cap. In the trailer, it shows.
Yeah. Cap shows up. Yeah.
So then, okay.
They're off in Wakanda.
Then you got Captain America, Black Widow,
and Falcon.
They're
on the run.
Yeah, they're on the run. And Scarlet Witch and Vision are hiding. Vision has changed his look
to a more human form. They seem to be hiding somewhere in either somewhere in Europe. It looks like.
Yes.
If I'm going off of footage and leaked set footage.
Okay, and then we bounce over to New York. Who do we got? We got
Tony.
We got Tony, Brody, Peter.
Brody.
That's why I said Brody.
Oh, you said Brody?
I said Brody.
Okay.
And then you got Doctor Strange. Hulk, who eventually just crashes down into Earth.
Yeah. So.
And then we bounce up to space. We got Thor
and the Guardians of the Galaxy.
We have no idea what has happened to Ragnarok or what has happened to the people of Asgard.
Well, I think a lot of them are going to be killed off. That's kind of my assumption. I think there's a few scenes in the trailers where we see what appears to be Loki offering up the cosmic cube to, I'm assuming, Thanos. I'm assuming it's right after he's gone through and slaughtered the Asgardians and he's holding Thor's head. Looks like he's about to crush it.
Yeah.
And my personal opinion is that he is offering up the cosmic cube in exchange for his and Thor's life.
Yeah.
What I think happens in that scene, the following scene, is I think he does take the cosmic cube, but I think he kills Loki. Because we don't really see Loki in any other footage outside of that.
Yeah.
So I think Loki's a goner. I think he's among the first few deaths.
But...
And in I've heard a lot of people talk about like what happens to Valkyrie and Korg during that. What I think is going to happen, much like Hulk, where he is just thrown to Earth, something similar is going to happen, but their fate is going to be left unknown. Probably maybe to like Avengers 4.
Yeah. But, it's just like... That's the only reason I included the Hulk in New York was because...
He crashes into the Sanctum Sanctorum,
yeah.
Yeah. And from what we gathered here, so Hulk crashes into the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yep.
Turns back into Bruce Banner. I'm assuming he tells Wong and Doctor Strange about what happened up there in space and the threat of Thanos. My guess is after that is, if I had to guess, either Tony sees what happened and heads down to that area, or Strange or Banner calls him to come and get Banner, and then that's when we get the children of Thanos showing up in the city of New York. Probably, if I had to guess, coming for the Time Stone.
It really wouldn't surprise me if that's what was about to happen.
Yeah, because, as we saw in Doctor Strange, Doctor Strange is the user and user of the Eye of Agamotto, which is the Time Stone in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, my guess is they're coming for that first. It probably just so happens to be where they appeared, so they're coming for that first. Also, what happens in New York, we see the ring circle-like ship appear over the city, and we see Peter spring into action. We see him don the Spider-Man suit.
Yeah.
And he goes to the ring, not really sure what he's doing there. probably to investigate or find out what's happening, what's going on. We see multiple. Didn't mean to cut you off, but
Oh no! I was just gonna say. Oh wait, well, there's also a part where we actually get a look at the Iron Spider. So.
yeah. There's if I'm going off the trailers and the TV spots, there's twice where he appears on the ring ship. There's one, in the TV spot, like it's going up into space. It looks like.
Yeah.
He seems to be wearing the suit he had in Homecoming, like the regular Spider-Man suit.
Yeah.
And in the trailers, we see him in the Iron Spider suit. And not really sure what's happening there. There's also in that trailer, it appears maybe Tony in his new, I think Mark 50, Mark 51 suit, coming up to Peter, maybe to give him the Iron Spider suit. Maybe to deliver it so he can survive.
There's also a really cool scene, like the TV spot, where the hand on the Iron Man suit turns into like a can, like not laser. Well, yeah,
it is kind of like a laser cannon.
It's a laser cannon. His hand turns in. It's like Mega Man. His hand turns into a freaking laser cannon.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of similarities to that suit and to that of the Bleeding Edge armor, which is a suit. In the comics, it's a suit that Tony Stark has these nanite-like machines injected into his body when
that gives him
pretty much form the suit around him.
Oh, okay.
So he constantly has the suit on him. So, and we see in the trailer the suit seems to be forming around Tony. My guess, maybe something he's developing his own, maybe for his interaction with Star-Lord. Because Star-Lord has that mask that is nano. That does the same thing. Shuri created the Black Panther suit as well, which also, forms around him in Black Panther. So there's a lot of different facets of how that suit could come to be.
Okay, can I just say...
Yeah.
Like, just the interactions already, you can already tell that no one is going to overshadow anyone.
Not really, no. Not really.
They took the time and they equaled out, like, roles.
Yeah, they equaled out screen time for everybody.
Yeah. They made sure everyone has equal. They made sure if someone's going to get more, make sure it's a character who needs it.
Yes.
Not just, here's, like, we're going to give everyone this amount, but we're only going to give one guy a small amount.
Yeah. But even if they do, the Russos have confirmed in that case, because there's over I think 60 main characters in this movie,
which some are gonna get more than others.
Yes, and like they said, one of the things that they confirmed is because we don't really see characters like Ant-Man a lot in the trailers. I don't think we've seen him at all, really.
I don't think he's gonna be on screen for that long.
I don't think so either, because they've said they've confirmed that he plays a very, very important and pivotal role in Avengers 4. That Ant-Man is, pretty much with the team almost the entire movie in Avengers 4. And that he's very central to the plot. So, my guess is he's going to be in the film. He's going to be in Infinity War. But he's going to have a small part, then they're going to put him on the back burner.
Because Ant-Man and Wasp is coming out before Avengers 4, so...
Yeah. I think it's the last Marvel film released this year. Because they have Infinity War, then in like midsummer they have Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, so then
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't get as much screen time as everyone else because of, it's just... You got Ant-Man and Wasp coming out. They're going on the run from the government because I think that's going to take place maybe before the Infinity War. So that's why he might not be on screen as long.
Yeah.
Because think about it, he's just like, oh yeah, we're going on the run from the government because of
what you did in Civil War.
Yeah, because of whose side you chose and.
Yeah.
Yeah, which they also brought back. As Hank Pym.
Oh, what's his name? Michael
Douglas.
Michael Douglas, yeah.
They brought back Michael Douglas, which is a great choice.
Very great choice.
I'm happy they kept the same actor.
Mm-hmm.
Finally.
But let's also talk about this. They said that in Infinity War that the team appears to be split up into threes.
Yep.
So we got the Guardians and Thor doing whatever it is they're doing in space.
Yep.
We got
Hulk
Cap.
kind of got excluded for that one. And Thanos kind of kicked him out.
Yeah, kicked him out of that.
It was like, nope, don't need you.
Like, nope, you're not needed here. We have Cap and his team. Looks like in Wakanda for a good majority of the movie. I'm assuming either hiding Vision or the rest of the Infinity Stones defending them from the Black Order and the Children of Thanos. Which I think I've heard is like where like the final third act of the movie takes place almost entirely in Wakanda. And
yeah, that's what I heard. Like,
so
that entire scene, like that
entire battle scene is in Wakanda.
Yeah.
And so we got that going on, and we have Tony Stark's team, which also seems like at one point in the film, him, Doctor Strange, Peter Parker, and maybe Wong, we haven't really seen Wong in any of those interactions, meeting up with the Guardians at some point. They meet up with Peter Quill, Mantis, Gamora, Drax, and Groot. I think. No, not
Rocket. No, Rocket's there.
Well, I thought Rocket was also with Thor. Rocket and Thor.
Oh,
Rocket and Groot go off with Thor to help him with whatever he's doing. And so we have all that going on, which has one of my favorite moments in the final trailer is the exchange between Peter Quill and Tony Stark.
Oh yes. That's
It's like, let's talk about this plan of yours. I think it's good, except it sucks. So how about let me do the plan so that way it might be really good. And I like how this whole time like Tony's just like, this motherfucker.
It's like this guy.
Like this guy over here.
Does he know what I've done for this team?
Yeah, and like his only response to it, at least that we see, is just wow. Like they have those two characters have so big of egos they can't even fit them in the same room.
Okay, but last thing for this part. Let's talk about the most important thing. Where is Stan Lee gonna pop out of this time? Where can Stan Lee pop out of?
It has been confirmed there's going to be a cameo of Stan Lee in this movie. I mean, there's so much going on.
It's ever confirmed that there's a Stan Lee cameo until the movie actually comes out.
I know, but there's just so much that's going to be happening in this movie. I don't even know if they're going to have time to do one.
I just want to throw in my prediction.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I honestly think they're just going to pull a normal, throw him in the New York crowd.
Yeah, probably.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he'd be doing in Wakanda.
Maybe a tourist. Wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't really know how long Infinity War takes place after Homecoming and Black Panther. So could be a couple weeks, could be a few years. Yeah. We have really no real say there.
Or he could be with the Watchers again.
Could be the Watchers, yeah.
I admit, I was very happy when I saw that.
I was happy to see the Watchers. I was very happy to see that.
I was happy that they made fun at the idea of Stan Lee as a Watcher.
Yeah.
I like that because I was chuckling in my seat. I was just like, ha ha.
Like he's seen so much.
That's pretty funny.
He refers to like things that happen like the X-Men universe and like the Fantastic Four universe at Fox. But okay, so it's hard to kind of predict this movie. It's kind of hard to predict. Like we can predict like some things that are starting out, but like where things end up, it's kind of hard to predict.
Yeah.
I guess one of the things is I think Thor, Rocket, and Groot, they appear to be going off to get Thor a kind of weapon, it seems to be.
I feel like it's going to be the replacement of Mjolnir.
Which gets me kind of thinking, because if that is the case, because as we see in Thor Ragnarok, especially by the end, when he's fighting Hela on the Rainbow Bridge, he doesn't really need Mjolnir anymore.
Because he literally sends electricity through his body.
Yeah, he literally has embraced, the whole God of Thunder aspect. He doesn't need Mjolnir. So I'm kind of wondering, why he needs, I think it's essentially Stormbreaker.
Yeah, I think that's what it's gonna end up probably
Yeah,
being.
the axe, or could be an axe or a hammer. That's the Stormbreaker. I really don't see why he would need it. I don't get the aspect why he would need it if he, is so powerful anymore that he honestly doesn't need Mjolnir. Mjolnir was just a way to focus it.
Well, Odin said that it was to not control, but
to focus it more.
To focus his energy. So he probably is going to use that to like help focus his
energy more.
Yeah, because it's just pure energy when it's just surging through him.
Yeah, and we see the scene where I don't know if he's holding Stormbreaker or not, but he throws his arm into the air and lightning just goes everywhere.
And then there's also a scene where he's holding on like to
this machine of
this
some
like
kind.
machine, and he's just let her rip and just sends lightning through everything.
I actually have a theory about that.
Are you Thor, son of hammers?
Are you Thor, god of hammers? I actually think that where we see that, especially in the first trailer, where he's using this machine.
Yeah.
We might be seeing the construction of Stormbreaker right there. We might see it happen. That's what's happening there. One cool and interesting thing that I've seen some people talk about, but not a whole lot, is Cap gets a new shield.
I like this. I'm not gonna lie, I love the original design, but I like this design of the shield.
Mm-hmm.
It's got like it's
almost like gauntlets.
Yeah,
almost.
It's like gauntlet on each hand.
Mm-hmm. That connect together. Yeah. And it seems to me like that in itself is a reference to I think Secret Empire, where Captain America had a shield which kind of worked in the same way, which could separate into two pieces and were attached to both of his arms in a gauntlet-like form.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see a similar thing where the pieces can connect together to create a larger shield. And it seems much more reminiscent of like the original shield design, not like the circular.
But it's more like the shield.
Much more like an old classical version of a shield.
Yeah, like a knight's shield.
Which again seems to be made out of vibranium. Because if I remember right, I think it's T'Challa that gives him the shield.
Yeah, but Stark was transporting it though. Remember in Homecoming, they were just like, Cap's new shield.
Yeah, that is right. It could be from Cap too. It could be from Tony. I guess we're honestly gonna have to see. Yeah. We're gonna have to see who it turns out to be.
Most of these, ladies and gentlemen, these
are opinion based predictions. We really have no insider info to go off of here. We have honestly no idea how this film is going to play out. I am personally fully expecting to go into this film and get 98% of my predictions just thrown out the window.
I expect 2%. I expect 1% of my predictions to be true, which is Stan Lee's gonna pop out of somewhere completely random.
That's just true.
He's just gonna pop out of nowhere. Like, yeah, I think they're gonna throw him in the New York crowd, but gosh, if I know.
Yeah, and one of the hardest things to pinpoint, which I've seen a lot of people talk about because it has been confirmed that characters will be killed off in Infinity War. It's going to happen, especially also in Avengers 4. That in itself is hard to pinpoint. Some, we can kind of figure out.
Because they do have to, like, some people's contracts with Marvel Studios are coming up. Some, like, to make room for new characters, you gotta kind of vacuum out the old and
there's
like the Phase 1 characters or the Phase 2.
There's that old saying of out with the old, in with the new. So, and I think in regards to characters like Ant-Man and Doctor Strange and even Spider-Man, I think those characters are safe. The characters that have just been recently introduced, I think they're safe. I can see them getting like pretty fucked up, pretty hurt.
Yeah, pretty banged up.
But I think that the characters that you have to worry about are the Phase 1 characters. The characters like Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Black Widow, Thor, Hawkeye. If Nick Fury is in this movie, Nick Fury. Those are the characters you got to worry about because the characters that have been a part of this world and universe since the very beginning.
Yeah.
those are the characters I think that have the greater chance of being killed off in these next two movies. One of which I'm sad to see go, but I'm also kind of not surprised, is in recent interviews, Chris Evans, who plays Captain America Steve Rogers, has hinted that since his contract expires after Avengers 4, that once Avengers 4 hits, that he has heavily hinted that he will be bowing out of the MCU after Avengers 4.
Yeah.
Which is sad because, I love that character. I love the character of Steve Rogers. Chris Evans was able to take a character that in the comics I didn't find too terribly interesting, and to turn him into one of the most complex and interesting characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a line in the first Captain America movie. I think it's when he's being, I wouldn't say trained for the Super Soldier Program, but he's being, interviewed about it by the doctor in the barracks. And he asks him, like, so you just signed up to the war because you want to kill Nazis? And he's like, no, sir, I don't want to kill anybody. I just don't like bullies. I don't care where they're from. And that says so much about that character. It really does. It says everything you pretty much need to know about Steve Rogers in one sentence. It sums up who that character is.
Yeah.
Because, that wasn't a new development once he gets the secret soldier serum. Okay, now I'm going to do the right thing. You see earlier on in the film, he when he's in the theater and watching propaganda films,
yeah,
he picks a fight with a guy that's just being an asshole in the theater. So this, belief that that he just doesn't like bullies in general. It has always been with Steve Rogers. It is not a new development. This is just who Steve Rogers is. And I gotta say, if he does end up dying in Infinity War Avengers 4, I'm gonna be sad to see him go. But I think they're gonna give him a very heroic death if that is the case. He's gonna die a hero.
There's also been rumors Dave Bautista's contract is coming to an end, and that could possibly mean the end of Drax.
Well, I mean, I actually kind of think that actually is probably the case. Because it makes sense to his character arc, since Guardians 1.
Yeah.
In the sense that,
Because all he's wanted is revenge on Thanos.
Yeah, for the murder of his family. And I could see him achieving that, but at the same time dying and achieving that. Another character I think will die, is which I don't see people bringing up a lot, is Nebula. I see her dying in the next two, either Infinity War or Avengers 4. Well, I mean, think about it. She leaves Guardians 2 in pursuit of Thanos to try and go and
Doesn't she leave with the Guardians? She doesn't leave by herself. She's with the Guardians at the end of that movie.
Well, she's with them, but I think she ends up leaving right at the funeral for Yondu. She takes one of the ships and goes. Because there's like a goodbye scene between her and Gamora.
Yeah.
And I like that character too, but I think that it's I don't really assuming Thanos dies in Infinity War.
That's a pretty big assumption.
That's a pretty big assumption, but assuming that happens, what purpose does that character have? What other need do they have to keep Nebula around? I just don't see it. Yeah. It could be served as like two birds, one stone kind of a thing. You take both those characters out. And they've also said, we're going to start wrapping this up, but they've also said that there's going to be surprises, revelations in these next two movies. Do you have any theories of what those might be?
Gosh, they already said Bucky's the one who killed Tony's parents, so that's out of the bag.
That's out of the bag.
That cat's out of the bag. I don't know. They're going to find a way to blame Stark for something now.
Well,
Go ahead. I have a feeling that somehow Thanos is gonna pull I don't know. I feel like somehow something's gonna end up pointing a finger at Stark.
Yeah, I mean,
in some way, shape, or form, it's gonna be like, oh, it's Stark's fault.
It seems to be a running theme. in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
To point the finger at somebody.
Well, not just that, but it's just that he's also one of those characters that by trying to help and trying to make things better,
He ends up causing
makes things worse.
Yeah, so
I mean,
the vision that he had in Age of Ultron has come true. This is it.
This is the end. The end of, as he says in Age of Ultron. The end of the path I started us on.
Yeah.
And perfect examples of those. There's two examples I can think of off the top of my head. Ultron in of itself, because he creates Ultron.
Yeah.
And we all know how that turned out. And also the whole Civil War aspect of Civil War.
He tried
to force that on Steve. Now, granted, both characters strongly believe in what they're doing. They really do.
Yeah, but how do you say which one is in the wrong when they're both trying to do the right thing?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of hard to do. The whole idea of right and wrong, really in any situation, is kind of subjective.
Yeah,
a lot of things in life are subjective. That being one of the perceptions of right and wrong, and one thing too, which is also Tony's fault in Civil War, is some things didn't need to go down the way they did. I mean, okay, so I'm going in full blown spoiler territory for Civil War. But the movie's been out for...
if you haven't seen Civil War, the whole airport scene could have been prevented.
Well, not just that, but the whole scene where they try to capture the Zemo, and he plays the footage, the security footage that shows the death of Tony's parents.
Yeah.
The first thing he does is once he finds out about it is, which is understandably, I think anybody in this scenario, he immediately tries to kill Bucky. Like not take him into prison. He's going to kill Bucky, which leads to the whole fight between all three of them. And that whole thing could have been prevented. I think at one point even Steve tries to talk him down.
Yeah.
At one point, and I think he just straight up says, "I don't care. He killed my mom." Which is understandable. I mean, he wasn't really close with his dad, but you kill the mom. You kill anybody's mom. That's unforgivable.
If the Marvel movies have taught us anything, it is you do not
kill somebody's mom.
The mother.
No.
Or you are dead.
'Cause, I mean, even think about it. I mean, that your mom is the first one.
Sorry.
Okay?
Yeah, choked on some water.
Don't die on us. Don't die on us. We gotta make more of these.
I like we're monetized.
Yeah, we're monetized.
We're getting paid for
we're getting paid for this, but whatever. I don't want to make this on my own.
I would like this, Marvel, please.
I'd like to get monetized too.
I'd like to get monetized someday.
But onto the topic here real quick. Damn it, I forgot what I was gonna say.
My bad. I coughed.
No.
My bad.
It's not your bad. It's not your bad. You're good. Well, as I was saying before, to add on to the whole, you don't kill the mom.
Yeah.
And that's true. I mean, you're killing the first, your mom is the first woman in your life that ever truly loves you. Wholeheartedly. No ulterior motive of any kind, no, I guess, loves you to a point. It's really one of the first people in your life that, loves you unconditionally.
Yeah.
And this person has taken that from you. Has killed that from you. Yeah, as logic dictates in Marvel movies, you do that, you gotta die. It's just gonna happen. You're gonna die. You're going to be killed.
Or you're good as dead in that hero's
eyes.
Eyes.
No saving. No prison. No trial. No jury. Just straight to execution.
Yep.
And it's understandably. And Well, we do have more predictions for deaths.
Yep.
We do. We touched on a few of them here.
But
we are sadly out of time.
Yeah, we are saving everything for our part 2.
Which should premiere maybe next weekend. Maybe. That's a very slim maybe. You got some stuff going.
Yeah. Sadly. School-wise, yeah, I got some stuff coming up and going.
I may have some stuff going, but Jacob for sure does have some stuff going. And we would be able to find a way around it, but he's sadly, I don't know if I remember saying this or not, he is the man with the editing equipment. He is the man with the audio.
Oh, you're flattering me.
I am, but at the same time, it's true.
Yeah.
I don't have editing software in my house, so we will get back to you either next weekend or the weekend after with part 2 of this video, which will, I think, almost exclusively for the most part be on the deaths that we can expect in Infinity War.
Yeah, the deaths, the characters,
well, maybe not also deaths, but also how characters will be changed by the events of Infinity War.
Definitely.
Because there's no way anybody who's going into this film, audience or character-wise alone, that you are not emerging unscathed in some way, shape, or form. You will be changed by the movie.
Yeah.
And maybe even Avengers 4, but maybe also not because we know little to nothing about it. There has been no details.
All we know is that it's in production.
All we know is it's in production, and I think it takes place almost immediately after Infinity War. So I guess we could theorize about that, see what that's about.
Yeah.
Well, and so yeah, this has been episode 3 of the Untitled Podcast. I'm Zach.
I am Jacob.
And we will catch you guys on the next one.
All right. Stay cool. Stay frosty.